Sarah, do you want to kick it off? I will go ahead and pin your video.
I can do that.
Oh, you're muted. Sarah, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, wait, hear me? Yes, can now. Maybe it was me. Sorry.
I was like, I've been talking to you this whole time. I guess you couldn't hear anything.
Sorry, it was me.
Okay, so we're going to kick this off. Let me preface with, we're going to do a little bit of coaching and like some training, and then we're going to give you guys some really great information about our calls moving forward. So I'm going to jump right in and start kind of with some just giving you guys some great tools and tips that we got today on our call with Genevieve. It was a great call. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was talking about events. We were specifically talking about book club and how important it is to get our potentials, our VIPs, our current brand ambassadors, everybody on those calls, and where the importance comes from. And I'll say I was one of the ones who asked a question on our call today. And I said, how do we instill the importance of being on these calls live and being in attendance at events live? We've got convention coming up, and I know so many are so, used to at this point doing everything virtually, but there really is such a difference in doing things live than there is virtual. And, I would say the same thing as far as a call goes. When a call is offered, there's something different about being on a call live and getting the interaction and the excitement of it all, getting to ask questions and engage and interact with others versus watching the recording where you're literally just watching the feedback. And while I know that is so amazing that we have that option for when those situations come up, but I'm going to challenge you as a leader on this team. And if you're on this call, you are a leader. You have decided that you want to move forward with growing a Plexus business, and you're here showing up to be coached and trained and poured into. And so I'm going to challenge you as a leader to be on those. It's once a month. It's the third Saturday every single month to be on the book club. I'm going to strongly encourage you to either read or listen to the books prior to, so you kind of know going into it what you're actually getting fed into. I know I did the audiobook on this one, which was phenomenal. And then the book club was like 10 times better because I already listened to the book. But here's why, y'all, this book specifically, I'll just talk about this one, fed into so many areas of our lives, right? It fed into being a mom. It fed into being a friend, being in any work field whatsoever. So maybe you have a second, a main job, and this is your secondary income. It's going to grow you as a person. And don't you desire, I would hope that your desire is to grow as a person, grow as a mom, grow as a wife, grow as a leader, grow as an influencer within even your sphere of influence. And so I really want to encourage you guys that when calls are made available, it's important to be on them. Here's another example. Obviously, these calls, we love seeing your sweet faces. So any team trainings, but also corporate calls. So Monday nights, we have the Monday motivation, which anybody growing a business should be on those calls. And if y'all for 1 second think, oh, but I've heard it all before. I'm a Sapphire, Amy's a Sapphire, and we get on these calls because there is always something, even if it's just a nugget, there's always a takeaway. And here's the thing. If you're going to invite, if I'm like, hey, Amy, you just joined me, I want you to get on this call with me. I know both are going to link arms and do this, business together. If I just show up, or if I invite Amy to the call and then I don't show up, that's like taking Amy and saying, hey, Amy, I'm going to go to a party. Do you want to come with me? Yeah, let's go. I'll meet you there. And then she gets there, and guess what? She's standing there by herself. Like, where the heck is Sarah? Do you think she's ever going to come to another party or event with me? I would highly guess no. If she does, it would probably be to stand me up. But the truth of the matter is, like, we are leaders, and this is a way for you to challenge your leadership. So best case scenario, you show up and you've got your friend, Amy with you. And then when the call is over, you can be like, Amy, wasn't that an incredible call? Like, I would love to hear what your takeaway was from it. What was like one nugget that you were able to take from that call? right? And you were on it, so you know the conversations that were had. Let me just challenge you for a second. If you do that and you were not on the call, and Amy's like, "Oh, I love when they said X, Y, and Z," and you're like, "I have no clue what she's talking about," that conversation is probably going to come to a stop real fast. Like, I mean, real fast. Wednesday calls, those are for new ambassadors. Y'all, if you are not inviting your new ambassadors, your ship has sailed and you have been left on the dock. Okay. You have got to get on that boat and ship away with the ship. That's not even a thing, but I just made it one. So you're going to get on and ship away with the ship. And truly, y'all, here's the funny thing. When we joined the company, none of this was available. If you've been here more than 5 years, none of this was available, right? So we had to create all this stuff. Y'all, this is so duplicatable because every single person that you invite to that call can go and do the exact same thing and never feel the pressure that they have to lead something, never feel the pressure that they have to talk. All this is inviting people, right? And so I really want to strongly encourage you guys to be utilizing these calls and really getting people on them and getting on them yourselves. What if you hear on one of them, hear a testimony that you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who that resonates with. Or maybe it just kind of sets in your brain and like files away in your file folder. And then 3 months from now, you have someone who pops up and is like, hey, you know what? I don't know. I'm really struggling with this. And you're like, oh, ding, ding, ding. I remember when, Kristen just talked about that on a call like 3 months ago. I need to go look her up and like send, connect that to her and tell her, yeah, I just had a friend that had that same situation. Y'all, the knowledge is power. And if you at any point as a leader believe that you do not need more knowledge or that you have enough knowledge, then you are your own roadblock. When you become so full of self that you don't open up more room for growth, then you are your own roadblock. That just is what it is. Genevieve and I actually had a conversation and we even talked about coachability. And I was like, sometimes it can be really difficult to, coach and really get people outside of their comfortability. And here's the thing. The one thing that she reminds me constantly, and we just talked about this on our Jewel call last week, was, are you working your business from a place of hope? Or are you working this business from a place of intentionality? Are you being intentional with your purpose in this business and with your purpose and your responsibility as a brand ambassador? Or are you hoping and crossing your fingers and like throwing it out to the universe and just hoping that something comes back at you? Which, by the way, if that happens for you, you need to be like in a Guinness Book of World Records because you're probably the only person in social networking that does that. Like, that's just not, people are in conversations. People are getting out there and inviting people to things. You have to be intentional with your work. So I am going to hand it over to Amy, and she's going to share a little bit of belief building with us.
Looking for my unmute button. Hey guys, I loved some of those nuggets, and it reminded me too. Hang on, let me unpin you and pin myself and do all the things here. I feel like sometimes now with this, you need like a stage manager. And it's so funny. You said like we didn't have any of this when we started. I came across, in fact, here it is, my first notebook from when I started Plexus. And I'm going to sound like my granny when I say this, but in March of 2015, my very first training call I got on, it was a 1-800 number that we had to dial into. Like, there were no videos on the internet, on social media. So literally I called a 1-800 number and my diamond was talking. That was the training. There was nothing from corporate. So anyway, I love that. I do want to talk about belief, but I want to say something about showing up for these calls. And you guys do great. You guys show up a lot because you're on this call. So we're probably talking to the people that aren't on the call, right? Like, we're always talking to the ones that show up. But one thing is, and Genevieve kind of hinted around it, but guys, you want to show up on these two for your network and your potentials. And that's why I am constantly throwing up in my stories when I'm on calls like this, because it grows your influence with your network. When it comes down to who they want to either join a business with or order products from, the fact that they see you engaging on things like this to grow your knowledge, grow your leadership, or that you're connected to a community can make a difference in their decision. I have early in my Plexus career, people have gone to somebody else because they didn't think maybe I was still doing it or XYZ. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I've not been sharing that. On the flip side, I've had many more people come to me and say, listen, I don't know you very well, but I see your content and I can tell that you're not going anywhere with Plexus, or that you're always learning about it, or you're very connected. I want to join you because I want my sponsor to be someone like that. So it helps us grow. It helps us grow our business, but it also has another kind of motive, and that is for our network. But I want to talk about belief a little bit. And I'm sorry for the people who are hopping on late, because I did tell my team earlier that we weren't sure if we were having the Tuesday huddle. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, how we're going to kind of change up the format. But let me talk about belief. We all need a dose of belief every now and then. And to be successful, you really need belief in 4 things, and you cannot waver in that. And the minute you do start to waver, I've started to waver in certain ones, you have to find out ways to fill your belief bucket. Okay. So when it comes to belief, you have to be bold in your belief. And a lot of times when I say that, people think it means you have to be an extrovert. I don't mean that when I say you have to be bold in your belief. What I mean is you have to find your passion and be bold in your stance that these products are the best anyone can get. People need them. We have the best company. It's the best compensation plan. You believe with all of your being that everyone needs this as a secondary income, right? You don't have to be an extrovert for that. So when I say bold, please don't think it means you have to do videos and do trainings and that, but you need belief in 4 things: the products, the company, Plexus Worldwide, the industry of network marketing, and yourself, right? So the products, you can get that belief built all the time. You can go back and remember what your life was like before you started taking the products. And sometimes this is hard. I forget how far I've come. I found this old YouTube video that Nicole sent me. Thank you. That's labeled libido, because that was part of my story back then. I don't even recognize that person, but I had all these medications on my counter. If someone had asked me before Nicole sent me that video, if I was on a lot of medications before Plexus, I probably would have said no. I'd forgotten how far I came. So just remembering your own story can help you build that product belief. But then also, guys, we have thousands of testimonies. We have those Why Plexus calls. If you need a dose of some new testimonies or some new stories, get on those Why Plexus calls, dig into the ingredients, right, to build that product belief. To me, that's one that anyone can build. All the resources were there, right? You also, though, have to be bold in your belief that Plexus Worldwide is the best company on the planet. And if you're not someone who is getting connected to corporate, that's going to be hard to build your belief. I've built that belief because I have been able to have access to corporate, whether it be through, convention and leaders retreat, or also just jewel training and leadership training. But also now we have so much access to our CEO and our president. Every single month, they host the kickoff call and the huddle, and they send videos often to talk about special things. So that will help build your belief in the company, because you have to know that Plexus is the absolute best company out there. I would say it's the best company among all privately held companies, not even in direct sales, because my husband works for a big, huge organization, and I know Plexus is better than his company. I mean, we love his company. It's a great paycheck, but I know Plexus and their kind of belief and their executive structure and how they treat their people, they are the best. But you also can look at the accolades we always get. Do your own research, right? We always are getting press releases on all the money we give back, all the charity we do, how we're always in the top 5, 10, 20, 30 on, the best companies to work for or the fastest growing companies, right? You can find that stuff to help build your belief in the company. You also, though, have to build your belief in the industry. And this can hold a lot of us back when it comes to sharing the opportunity and sharing and getting business builders, because we may think Plexus is the best and we love these products, but we actually still kind of cringe a little bit at network marketing. We don't really think, we think, it's kind of yucky. And we really don't have that belief. But I got to tell all of you guys, we're all network marketers. Like whether we wanted to or not, we are all network marketers. You have to be bold in your belief in this industry. You have to truly believe it is awesome. You can't think network marketing is a little bit sketchy and be successful in Plexus, right? So I was a total network marketing snob, and I knew that if I was going to be successful and put myself out there, I had to dig into this industry. So I did my research. And if you do that, you will find that it's actually the most profitable business model in terms of when companies have choices to make on how they sell their products. Some of the world's richest people invest in network marketing and recommend them. People like Donald Trump before he was president, people like Warren Buffett. And we are a company of Morgan Stanley. We're a client, of Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley would not have chosen Plexus Worldwide if our company was sketchy or if the industry was sketchy, right? So if you have just a twinge and you are not super proud to shout from the rooftops that you sell gut health products, that you work for Plexus Worldwide, or you're a network marketer, you need to build your belief in those areas, right? And then the last one that, goodness, I just really wish that we could all flip a switch on. The last thing you have to have, and it's the hardest, is belief in yourself. You have to have this kind of crazy, almost childlike belief that you're going to be successful. You're going to be gold. You're going to be emerald. You're going to be ruby. You're going to do it. You're going to get new silvers. You're going to get new golds. You are going to attract the people that want to do this with you and also want to be silver and gold and emerald and diamond. You have to have that bold belief in yourself, because without it, the skills mean nothing. You can have all the skills. You can show up to all the calls. You can come to all the things. But if you don't have that belief, you're going to be still in the water. And when I think back to my journey over the last 7 years, anytime I've had a moment where I've been stuck, where I'm not recruiting, where I feel like I don't have any potentials, when I feel like my market's tapped out, it's because my belief in one of those 4 areas has slipped. And when that belief slips, it affects your confidence, it affects your passion, and it affects the energy you put out when you're talking to people about the business. So those are the 4 kind of areas to really think about, and also think about and recognize when they slip and how you can fill your belief bucket. Filling your personal belief bucket is hard, but that's what those book clubs are for. Now, I almost hate to call it a book club, because then people do feel like they have to read the whole book and it's like a thing. And there are teams that are doing book clubs. And yes, you need to read the book. I have a stack of books here that I have not read. So for this last one, for corporate, I bought the audiobook. I'm in the car every day to and from my kiddos' school. So I listen to the books when I'm in my car. I listen to them on my phone when I'm in the shower, right? But even if I don't get to do that, I get on those Saturday calls because I look at them as like a Saturday speaker series. You don't have to have read the book to get stuff out of that series. And because it's a Saturday and it's like right smack in the afternoon, I think it's 11 Central. Oftentimes we're doing stuff as a family. So guess what? Adelaide and Steve are listening too. If we're in the car, like we've been on road trips before on a Saturday, we listen to it together. Like there's nothing in that book club that Adelaide can't listen to that she's not going to get something out of, because it's all personal development, personal growth, mindset. It's all great, great stuff. So that is something that can help build that personal belief, because that one is definitely not something I can't build your personal belief. I can build your belief in the products and the company and the industry. I can't build belief in yourself. So showing up to things like that help build that belief and just keep it rock solid. Do you have anything you
And
want to
I'm gonna add to it too, Amy. One of
Please
the
do.
things that Genevieve mentioned today is, so if you're wondering, how do I even invite someone to this? They're brand new or they're a potential. This company spends an insane amount of money to get top selling authors into our hands. Like y'all, if y'all knew the amount of money that our company invests in us, it would blow your mind. Most large corporations do not invest in their businesses this way. This is part of your membership with Plexus, is having this accessibility. And so a great way to do that is to say, hey, Stephanie, I know that we've been kind of chatting about Plexus, or I know you've just joined me and you've just gotten your health journey started. I would love for you to be able to take advantage of one of the benefits of being a VIP customer, or being, I want to invite you as my guest to this while you're still pondering on if this is something that you want to do with me, and just let you kind of have a look into what our company actually invests into us, and invite them that way. This is part of our community, right? Like, that's why I keep telling everyone, turn your cameras on. I don't care what you look like, guys. I have no makeup on and haven't washed my hair in 6 days. We don't care what you look like. It's about community. That is truly that is the heart to me of our business, is the community that we provide. And it is what sets us apart from all of the others. And so I just really want to encourage you in that. The other thing I wanted to tap into too, when Amy was talking about those 4 core beliefs, when you are pouring into yourself, here's another challenge. I like to challenge people. I was just challenged with this by my upline, who's my sister. When you're pouring into yourself, don't always go find people who just make you feel good about yourself, who just like fluff you up and make you feel better and you feel like more confident. Always, that's not always what is needed for growth. Sometimes you need to find things that push you outside of that and kind of have you take a deeper look. I remember a pivotal moment in my journey, which was about 3 years ago. My sister had to have a come into Jesus moment with me and really be able to like be raw with me. And she said, are you willing to let me coach you? Are you willing to be coachable? And I was like, yeah, I'm always coachable. She's like, no, you're extremely defensive every time I try to coach you. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And so I kind of still went into it with a little grump-a-lump attitude. But here's the thing that I took away from it that I want to encourage you guys with. If you are just sitting in a place where you just want to feel good, you will probably still be in that place a year from now, exactly where you are now. If you are not willing to lift your lid in every aspect, whether it's leadership, growth, retention, recruiting, whatever, if you're not willing to lift the lid and be challenged outside of what you're doing, and you're just like, well, I like what I do, I'm doing it this way, and you're not willing to have change, you will probably not see growth. And I'm not just talking in your business, I'm talking about you personally. And remember, an audience is watching you. They're watching your journey. You want them to see growth, right? Because as a mom, I mean, if I'm watching Amy's journey and I'm like, wow, Amy, like watching you as a new mom, when you had Adelaide, and even watching yours and Steve's marriage, like how it's journeyed over the years, like you're such a different woman. You're so, you're so powerful. You have this, like, you've developed yourself so much in a leadership position in all avenues of your life. That's what we want to instill in people, right? Growth, right? So here's an example. I'm not sure if everybody here is a believer, but if you become a believer, right, you go to church only on holidays, or you go to a church that's just always like, it's always love and peace and kindness and happiness, but you never get into the root issues of society and how we have to adjust our lives, or you never get into the root of some of the yucky that's in the Bible. Y'all, the Bible has yucky in it sometimes. You got to get to some of those things in order to grow from it. You have to show up more to church. We go to church twice a week because of this. Like, we get in the word every single day, even when nobody's paying attention, even when nobody sees us doing it, we still have to do that. We still pray. Like, for us, it's a good example of how those growth is in every aspect of your life, right? If you have one child, versus if you have 7 by the 7th one, you kind of are in a different perspective than you were with 1. If you've been a mom for 7 years, you're probably a different mom than you were 7 years ago, because there's growth. There's constant daily digging in deep. So I just really want to challenge y'all. If you are in a place where you're like, well, I really like what I'm doing, but you kind of look back and you're like, well, it's kind of a lot of the same thing I've been doing for a year, 6 months, a year, 2 years. This is your challenge to maybe do something different. Reach out and say, hey, I know maybe I haven't been willing to be coached, but I really kind of do want to. It was funny today on the call, Genevieve, someone's like, well, I have a lot of people who want to get on the call, but it's the weekend, they have family stuff, they have sports stuff. And she's like, you can stay where you're at and do that and watch the recordings. That's awesome. But if you want to grow and you want to take your business to the next level, sacrifice will come into play, and you will find a way to make those happen. They're not that long. Everybody can give 30 minutes to an hour, of their time in a day. Like that's something, if you choose that you want to grow, that is something you'll find time for. And so I just want to encourage you guys to continue growth outside of maybe what you're currently doing. If you look back 6 months to a year ago, were you doing those things, and are you still in the same position? There's probably something missing in that area. So Amy, are you ready to tell them?
I am. I do want to point out one thing that Nicole put in the chat, because I want to make sure everyone saw it. It's such a good idea. She listens to like a podcast, like a personal growth podcast, to get her in the right mindset before she sits down to do her winning day. And so a lot of times, if you feel like you're sitting down to do your winning day and send messages to people and you're kind of just going through the motions, it helps to do that, because then you get that energy, or you get that shot of belief. You could even listen to a Diamond documentary, or anything. So I just wanted to make sure people saw that, because I do think that's a good idea. Or yeah, she said even before writing a post, it's just a good way to get your mind, ready. So we are, though, guys, we are changing the format of the Tuesday night huddle. And we're doing that because we realize there are so many corporate things that we're telling you guys we want all of us to be on. And we also realize our teams have calls. And realistically, being on something 5 nights a week for your business, that's not why we're doing this, right? Like we show up when we have to, but we don't want to have to show up 5 nights a week. So we're changing the format. Do you want to say anything, Sarah, before we kind of?
Yeah, I just want to say, for those who are showing up every week, we are so proud of you and so honored to link arms with you. We're not going anywhere. We're definitely just shifting and pivoting. One of the things we also talked about is we're getting into spring and summer season, where so many are traveling and have so much going on, that we really want to continue to be able to pour into people well and give the best of the best. And we know that that can be difficult to have expectations set of people being on here week after week with holidays. And like she said, we have team calls. And Amy, what night is y'all's team call?
Ours are on Mondays.
Okay, theirs are on Monday. Our table calls are on Monday. If you're on my team, our calls are the table. I'm linked up with the table now. And I know Kate has team calls as well. So if you're on Kate's team, definitely reach out to her and find out when theirs are, if you don't know. But for us, the decision was obviously a decision. The 3 of us came together and made that decision together. And we're really excited about where we're going to take it. And this is trial and error. This is part of growth, is when you've done something and you see that there's a change in need and there's a change that needs to happen, we pivot. And so that's what we're kind of doing at this point, is pivoting.
Yeah. So they will not be weekly. So what we're pivoting to try, the first one I think is going to be in May, but then we were going to hold them quarterly. And they are going to turn into actual group coaching calls, where it's not going to be something that we just open to everyone on the teams. You guys are all showing up because you're here because you want to grow your businesses. You are growing your businesses. So those of you in the quarter who grow their business, and we haven't really decided what that looks like, whether it's point growth, adding new VIPs, or helping people rank, then you will get, for that month, you will get the private coaching with myself, Sarah, and Kate. And I love that, because one thing I loved about the 3 of us coming together is that, my team gets to hear Sarah and how she works her business and how Kate does hers, and vice versa, because the great thing about this is we do have best practices. We know what works, but we all get to put our individual spin on our businesses, and it helps to hear from other people. So that's where we're pivoting. It'll be group coaching. And there will be some, some prep work. So we get on because we really want it to be effective to those who will be on the group and make it really good group coaching.
And there will definitely be opportunity for Q&A. Yes, once a quarter is when we're planning to do that. We're going to probably do that through the rest of the year. We'll play it quarter by quarter and kind of see how it's going. Your direct, Jewel, either myself, Amy, or Kate will kind of be the one to give you the link information for that particular quarter's call. And we haven't nailed it down. If you want to reach out to one of us and just kind of say, hey, this is something that I'm really excited about, and I'm wanting to, hear more about it when y'all kind of nail down those things. We definitely want it to be something that you have to work for, but not something unattainable. So it may be a little bit different. We may even decide, the three of us, differently with our teams having different dynamic and different variables. We may have different qualifications for our own teams to be given that opportunity, but we really want it to be a call where we can really pour some good coachable and training tips and information into you guys. And really, we're learning so much. I think sometimes for us, these calls are on Tuesday nights, and we have just gotten off our diamond sprint calls on Tuesday afternoons, and we are on like overload. Because when if you've never been on a Genevieve coaching call, let me tell you, she brings the heat. Like, you feel like you're like in the fire. And so sometimes it's hard for us to turn around and kind of regurgitate it in the best way for you guys. And we want to make sure that everything that we are sucking her dry of in coaching, that we are also able to properly and with the highest quality pour back into you guys. And we want to be able to do kind of what she does with us, which is kind of have a Q&A. Like, I'm just going to pick someone, Nicole be able to say, hey, this is an area that I could really use some help in. And I would love to hear how you would handle this situation. So we can say, okay, that's a great question. Someone else on here probably has the same question. Let's answer it for everybody. They will probably be longer than 30 minutes. They will probably be an hour because we'll have Q&A, but we're also going to pour information into you guys. So you're going to definitely want to bring a notebook and pen to take lots of notes and all of the things. But I think we're all three. Kate, just so y'all know, Kate's not here because tonight is their anniversary and they never get to celebrate their anniversary. So we told her, go and do that. We've got this. So we're going to speak on behalf of Kate. We're all three very, very excited about this, this pivot for us. And we just feel like the three of us, are going to continue to be accountability partners and really pour into each other. And we feel like the tighter we get and the more we can do that with ourselves and helping each other's teams by pouring into each other, y'all are going to get so much more out of these quarterly calls than we can probably even imagine at this point.
Yeah. And now we still are going to keep the chat. A lot of you guys are in the chat. I think it's called Gold Rush. So you guys can feel free to use that also, to chat amongst other teams, to still get ideas from people that are on different teams that you may not normally talk to. But we also thought and realized that a lot of the stuff we're bringing to you, you can get it on the corporate calls, especially like the Leaders in Action call. That's only once a month. That is a really good call. Like, I would definitely make that one a priority. So many great like leadership topics, business growth topics, and you can go back and watch all of those too. The recordings are saved on the corporate calendar, but they also almost always stream all of them live on the Plexus Ambassador page. The last one Jordan Roddenberry did, and it was about getting people to become business builders. So like really good content. So we really wanted to pivot this group to make it a lot more useful for you guys, for your business. And I think the group coaching is really going to be great. And I think that's something you guys will be able to walk away with like tangible kind of results from it. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. There still might be times where if Genevieve shares something with us that's just phenomenal, we might drop it in that Gold Rush chat or something like that. But be looking from either myself, Sarah, or Kate, depending on whose team you're on, what the next call is going to be. Because I think we're going to have to look at our schedules, but we had thought maybe we'd start one in May and then we'd go quarterly. So we'll see. but
it'll be definitely interesting. Getting 3 teams, y'all, to get on the same schedules can be a challenge, especially with corporate events. We've got convention and the Jewel trip to Hawaii that the 3 of us will be on in September at the end of a quarter. So we'll figure it all out. Make sure you guys have dates. If you're in the gold rush, I also want to challenge you. This is a challenge that the 3 of us are also giving each other. Is the purpose behind Gold Rush was to earn Gold School. And in doing that, if you're not aware of how to earn Gold School, it is to either go gold yourself or to help develop someone to gold. So everybody has the ability to earn it. My husband and I both earned it last quarter, and y'all, it was literally one of the best trainings I have ever been to in my 8.5 years of corporate trainings with Plexus. It was phenomenal. Almond's in there. She was there as well. She earned it. And it was incredible. And so I want to encourage you. That's still something we want to encourage you. You can earn that every single quarter, by the way. It's not capped at one-time earn. So if you earned it by going gold, then the next time you want to earn it by helping develop a gold. If you earned it by helping develop a gold, the goal is to be developing a new gold every quarter. That is like the huge goal that Genevieve put out there to everybody. And so we want to encourage you guys to still be working towards that. So if you're in Gold Rush, stay plugged in there, because we're still going to be dropping constant information there and in training so that we can help you guys achieve that. And if you're not in it and you're interested, contact one of the 3 of us and we will get you plugged into it so that you can be a part of that as well. We'll probably be a little more active in there as we're pivoting into this as well.
Yeah. And the 3 of us, like Sarah mentioned, we have committed, all 3 of us. Like, I already am working. I know Steph's on the call. She's going to be my next level 1 gold, but we've all committed that we're going to earn it ourselves every single quarter. And even if, like, I think someone said they already can't go to the July one, that doesn't mean we don't earn it. We're still going to earn it. Right. So we earned it in that quarter, even if you already know you can't go to that next one, because the dates are set, but the locations are not. And if anyone hasn't heard, I do know corporate said that they are trying to make it to where it's drivable for the most people who earn it, because they don't expect a brand new gold to fly all the way across the country for Gold School, even though people did, even though there were people who flew from California and Washington to get to Dallas. But so anyway, stay tuned. The dates are out there. If you guys want to go ahead and look at your calendars, the dates are set all the way through February of 2023 for Gold School. So,
and I'll tell you guys another little just like insider knowledge. When we earn this Gold School, if enough people are earning it, y'all, they're going to have them nationwide in different areas at the same time. That is the ultimate goal, is that we have Gold School every quarter in like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, however many locations, nation and even worldwide. I mean, our last Gold School, I don't know if y'all know this, the Mexican Gold School was going at this Mexico Gold School was going at the exact same time. They had it the same weekend, and I know they're developing them all over, but that is the ultimate goal, is for it to not always be in different areas, but to eventually have them across where everybody can be a part of them. So that is a huge, huge goal. We're encouraging you to all be a part of. Okay, I think that's it. We can wrap up. You're muted.
I'm muted again. Thank you, guys. You heard Gold Schools in different states. So yeah, that ideally, Christina, that's their goal. Their goal is to get it in different regions. So, all right, guys, thanks for being on. I'll have the recording I can send if you know of anyone on your team that was not able to attend tonight, and then be looking for our new dates for the new format. Bye, guys.